everybody, getting to another episode of Sharing and Talking with Matt. Today I'm talking to Peter from the Queensland band Human Failure.
Yeah, how you going, mate?
Good, mate. Thanks for agreeing to come on the show.
Yeah, no worries at all, mate. Not a bother.
Excellent. So the first question I like to ask is where'd the name come from?
Oh, geez. We went through a few names, but Bo, our singer, came up with it. He just spat it out one night at rehearsal, and it sort of just stuck because we were struggling. We went through a few, and none of them seemed to stick. Well, we were actually, Bo wasn't even meant to be singing at that stage. He was playing guitar. So yeah, it just came out at a rehearsal. I don't know where exactly. If he was here, he'd probably be able to tell you. But he's doing social work now. He's out whale watching with some young kids.
Oh, Matt.
So yeah, it's. I believe it's a song title from someone.
That I don't know.
Pretty sure it is. But
yeah,
Bo came up with it, and it just stuck from there. We all sort of went, yeah. Don't mind that, and it just sort of stuck, and that was that.
Well, there's a movie called Human Failure, and Frank Zappa did a song called Human Failure.
Yeah, I don't think it came from Frank. I'll probably be able to find out. I'm sure it was. It wasn't. It was. I'll try and figure it out before we get to the end.
Yeah,
of this.
That's all right. It's a great name. I just wanted to know where he got it from, but that's cool. So what was?
Cheers, by the way.
Yep. Cheers, guys.
Also on the name, I believe originally it was A Human Failure.
It was A Human Failure.
Which the Instagram account is A Human Failure. Reb, the old bass player, set that up and wanted to go with that. And I kind of like that.
No. He didn't like A Human Failure.
Like the opposite. So
he thought it didn't make sense. I thought it made sense. But yeah, here we are. Human Failure. Sorry, so we cut you off.
So you guys from Queensland?
Nah, we're from Newcastle.
Okay, well,
That shirt
I hate Google, mate. Google fucks me around so much. I tell you what.
Same place that band shirt you're wearing is from.
Yes. Have you played with them?
Not yet. It's been weird. We've had, I think COVID screwed us a few times. I think we were going to play a few times, and then we got that fucked it all up.
Just misconnections.
And I believe we might have one coming up at the station, a Sunday evening show. But it's just been one of those things where they're lovely guys. I've known 40 for years and years. The drummer, Craig.
Yeah, he's a classic.
Yeah, and but yeah, it's just never sort of seemed to fall into place for us at the right time. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've interviewed about 4 bands from Newcastle, and now that I know you're from Newcastle, I'm going to ask you the same question that I've asked every band. The movie Black Rock, who's the band playing at the surf club?
Oh, shit.
Because no one's been able to tell me.
I tell you who would probably know would be Luke, one of the guitarists. He's from Stockton. He was a young kid when all that stuff was going on, and I've seen the movie, but it was I couldn't tell you, man. I couldn't tell you. But Luke would definitely be able. There we go. The 2 guys that we've needed so far to be here to answer a couple of questions, they're not here.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know for sure though, because he saw it all unfold and all happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, same with another guy, the band I was talking to. He was actually there. Not the movie. He was actually there when it unfolded, the whole scene, kind of thing, and he couldn't even tell me. But So, what was playing on your stereo when you were growing up that made you want to go? I want to be in a band. I want to play music. That's one each for you. You're not allowed to double up on this. You got to do one each.
Quite a history of that.
I grew up in a household with 2 parents that were both musicians, and one of them basically, besides being a musician, tried his hand at running a music shop, and drove taxis because, you know, you've got to have a night job. But basically, yeah, my old man just playing music. I've been playing guitar since I was like 6 years old, sort of thing, and or before then. But I got my first guitar of mine when I was 6, and I've just been playing. Yeah, anything from sort of old school rock to noisy, fast, angry punk music ever since, sort of thing. So yeah, it's in my blood.
Did you play the tennis racket when you were 5? Oh.
No, I had guitars. A house full of guitars, not many tennis rackets.
Okay.
There was no need for a guitar.
Yeah.
Me, on the complete opposite to that. I play the drums, and I actually wanted to play guitar, but I went to boarding school in Sydney for 6 years, and it was compulsory to learn an instrument for at least your first 4 years. So I wanted to play guitar, and me being the person that drags their feet all the time, I left it too late, and the guitar list was filled. So I decided to take drums instead, and
yep.
That's how it all started. With regards to music, probably, mate, we're a bit older, or I'm a bit older. I'm the oldest, but I grew up on Midnight Oil and the Sunny Boys and Spy versus
yep.
Spy, and it wasn't until I got to school that I, you know, started hearing GBH and Crass and Discharge and bands like that, and then that just me in, and it's been that ever since, really. Probably more punk earlier on, but now it's probably more, you know, a variety of hardcore punk, crust, all the above stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I started getting in the crust and all that. A mate of mine started in '83, it was, and it was like from then it was no turning back. Like I don't know about you, but I put in the category of punk. I put in Midnight Oil, the Angels, the Divinals. You know, these guys. They might have been, and you know what I mean. But they had the style. They had the attitude.
And huge difference between Midnight Oils you hear on the radio and the Midnight Oils you would have seen at the actual RSLs and clubs and stuff that they originally started playing at. I think you would have found that it was more of a punk show to see when you were there in person. And the radio-friendly version of these kinds of bands comes out when people try to make money out of it, basically. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Where are you from, Matt?
Hey?
Where are you from?
Wollongong. I'm actually I grew up in Sydney.
Yep.
Then at 10, I moved to Queensland, and that was a couple of years after that. Like my friends started playing Birdman and all that sort of stuff, and then, as you were talking about before, Crass came into it. The Clash, the Sex Pistols, and all that sort of stuff came into it, and I was hooked straight away. But yeah, I'm in Wollongong now, which is quite upsetting. I hate the place, but we've got older kids down here with grandkids, so
it's a we got place. It's Wollongong's got some upsides to it,
especially surrounding down Kiama and all around those areas. It's beautiful down there. I used to go down there surfing as a kid, as a young.
Oh, mate, I'm 5 minutes away from the beach.
Yeah. Pretty much the same up here. 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, it's good.
So have you heard of Crash and the Carpenters?
Yes, I have. I haven't heard much of them, but I've seen a bit of them pop up on the media stuff. Why is that, mate?
I heard they were going actually to your area in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff coming in and going at the moment with now that the COVID thing's sort of dead and buried. seems to be all happening again, which is good.
So how's that treated you guys as a band, the COVID? First of all, how long have you guys, because Google's been fucking me up with you so far all day, but so how long have you guys been together?
Bo and I started it'd be 9 years ago, but it was just me and Bo, drums and guitar.
Yep, sweet.
So 9 years, which was pretty sketchy then, and then we had Reb on bass, and then it was probably only a good, I don't know, how long have you been in there now?
About 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
So it would have been,
I can ask this question then. I can ask the question is, how has COVID treated you? And during lockdown, did you guys go on Messenger and like all in your little boxes and
it focused around in terms of playing live, but then it also took away a couple of weeks during the proper lockdown of actually jamming. Outside of that, so for that long period where there was no live music, we still met every week and jammed every Wednesday. We were really consistent about that. I think we went a good almost 6 month stint where we played no gigs but made every single week jam.
That was after the first lockdown, I think.
Apart
from where they locked you down and you weren't allowed to sort of link up, Newey sort of dodged a bullet along the way there a few times too. So that wasn't probably as strict, was it?
No,
they didn't seem to be strict.
No, just no live music. So apart from the no live music thing, it didn't get to us too badly, and it sort of gave us an opportunity to tighten everything up pretty nicely and sort of work on some decent set lists and new songs and stuff. So we've got a bit of a catalogue now of songs we can play. So the next mission from here, after we've just released this 10-inch, is to write some more songs and then reach back into the catalogue to older songs we haven't played and find ones we kind of like the sound of and play them live too.
Reboot them, yeah.
Playing old songs live and writing new songs for next release, basically.
It was weird, it didn't really affect us that much, did it?
No.
COVID? I mean, it was a fucking drag. It was an absolute drag that we couldn't play, And then
for sure.
You thought you were going to, and then there was the times we thought, oh shit, we've got a show coming up, and then it'd get fucking canned. And it was becoming a week-to-week thing. You didn't know whether you were going to play or not.
It
got to the stage where you didn't want to book shows because you'd end up cancelling them and getting refunds out and shit like that.
Big waste of time.
Waste of time.
Definitely.
Quite deflating at times it was,
We've got a show coming up in August that we've created an Eventbrite for it so that people can pre-purchase tickets. But I was mentioning to some of the other bands that were asking for that to happen that this can be a bit of a screw around sometimes sort of thing. And I wasn't that keen on having that bit set up. I'd just rather take the money on the door if the door opens. But they were pretty adamant that they wanted some pre-sale stuff. So we set that up. But that's kind of where we're at the moment. It's like, well, if other people want it, we'll take the chance on doing pre-sale stuff. But we do understand that, these things can change so quickly that rather not have the stuff around, let's just live in the bloody moment.
They're young dudes and full of enthusiasm too, aren't they? Like they're super pumped, which is really good to see. Yeah.
So obviously this is not your first project. You guys have probably been in bands before this.
A couple of bands,
we've all been in quite a few. We're all you've been in a bunch
for close to 3 decades. A lot of us have been in other bands and stuff that have from little bands to bands that have put out a few releases and toured around a bit and stuff like that. So we're all kind of seasoned in that respect.
Yeah. So how do you feel that what the internet's done to the music scene? Like, what's your scope on that? Has it changed for you guys, like being in bands?
Basically, in my opinion, the internet and the way that people stream music and stuff, from the perspective of someone in a band like our band and other bands I've been in, is positive, because you don't sign up to play this kind of music for the money. You do it because you love it.
No, of course.
Do it because you want people to hear it. You don't give a shit about fame. You don't give a shit about money. You're just doing it because you love it. And if other people like it, that's great. So that sort of goes hand in hand perfectly with something like streaming, because you're never going to get any money out of Spotify or someone like that. Or
Definitely.
Anything like that, unless someone throws a donation on Bandcamp sort of thing. So it's, for the band to not have a pay to play kind of aspect where, you're forking out money to do stuff. You sell a bit of merch, you sell records, that sort of stuff. And it feeds itself, it keeps itself afloat, this band and other bands I've been in, so that you don't have to be out of pocket to enjoy.
Well, that's where COVID did sting us a little bit, because generally, like Nick's saying, you play enough shows and you'd sell enough merch, and it just used to fund the next project. So COVID put a dent in the kitty, that's for sure. Not that the vast amounts of wealth in the kitty at any time, but it certainly covered. It certainly covered recording expenses. There was very little coming out of our own pockets in that regard to putting out a release or something like that.
That said, probably could have, been more vocal online, asking for help from any fans or supporters sort of thing, to buy more shit and make things like going and doing the recording easier, or buying more stock to make merch with. We're pretty DIY as a band sort of thing. We'll do everything we can ourselves, but at the same time, we don't like that attitude either, really. We don't like putting our hand up for help or anything. We just support ourselves, and we do stuff and have people want it, rather than try and flog it to them, sort of thing. So that's where COVID did fuck us around a little bit, where
not immensely, but a little bit,
I mean, a little bit, just the tiniest little bit, and it's in the past, basically. Hopefully,
I think the way I look at it anyway, I don't know, it's like any, you live near the beach, people surf, they spend thousands of dollars a year on surfboards and wetsuits and things like that. In the 30 years and the bands I've played in over those years, it's never been a profitable thing. It's always been sometimes pay to play. You travel somewhere and you're paying to do it, but it's a hobby, and it's a good hobby, and it's a healthy hobby, and it keeps me sane. I know it does keep me sane. It makes I come home happy from practice and a show, and my wife's certainly happy. So I'm, it's certainly a stimulation, I guess, being able to do it.
Outlet for any angst that you've built up during the week of your bullshit job.
Yes.
Whether you like your job or not, there's certain downsides to it. So it's good to be able to build out a few loud, angry tunes, and that sort of keeps everything in balance.
Yeah. Have you ever had that moment when you've gone, fuck this shit, it's not for me? And have you got an escape route if you finally don't want to do this?
Well, we're old guys, mate. We're all old guys, but basically, we don't set ourselves up to be bottlenecked in any one particular thing. So, quite often, any one band member at any particular point in time can have a problem, but it never lasts more than a day. You know what I mean? Where one person's having a problem with someone else. We're all pretty agreeable people in the end, sort of thing, and we're all adults, so we also all have day jobs,
and we don't hang out with each other apart from when we play and do stuff like this, which is funny. Like it's
a very take it or leave it kind of situation. Like
we're all, I'm in Bo and myself are in our 50s.
Same.
Three if not far behind. So
I'm 44.
Well,
and Twangers, who's one of the guitar players, and Luke, the other guitar player, are just a little bit younger than me. So we're all in our 40s.
40s,
at this 40s to 50, and And yeah, we're not here to fuck around. You know what I mean? It's like you get in and do it, and it's been, you know, we've all been in lots of bands, so we've all got knowledge of like what could be a thing, and everybody brings something to the table, sort of thing. And you know, this is why we ended up together in this band, because we all like what each other can do and bring to the table, and you know, it all works. So.
Yeah, we don't understand each other. It's good. It reminds me of an old band I was in where we just all had our own little separate lives, and we came together and we just did what we liked doing. And like you said, everyone seems to have this, you know, we're all sort of into the same thing, but we're not as well. Where a lot of us listen to different styles, and everyone brings that style, and it just seems to meld into something. I mean, yesterday I was listening to Jane's Addiction while doing things that we probably shouldn't discuss, and really enjoying myself, sort of thing. And the day before that, I had some Dan the Automator on. I like different kinds of rap. I had Cat Stevens on last night.
I really enjoyed recently the Beatles movie / documentary that was done by Peter Jackson.
Yeah, isn't that brilliant?
Again, doing some things I shouldn't have been doing while watching that thing was spot on. And they were too, and it was all just like, you know, we've all discovered little different things we can enjoy in life at the moment, and one of those things is being in this band, and so you can take it with a grain of salt, and at the same time you also respect it, and sort of when you do have an opportunity to get together every week to play, besides having a chat and, you know, with the boys and hanging out, we also sort of like are very cognizant that we should like cut the bullshit and get some fucking shit done as well. So
yeah, of course,
because we got shopping to do and we got meals to cook as soon as we're done with that shit. And
but it's funny, but because I'm 52 and I've got 8 kids, and they're pretty much. What do you fucking mean, no?
Congratulations, man.
How am I not 52?
Congrats on the 8 kids. That's a fucking
machine, man. Like I stopped at 1.
Yeah, no, I got 8 of them.
I stopped at 1.
Fucking assholes, mate. You do not know how I get treated in this family. It's insane, because I'm the only white person in the family, and so it's like,
flip it. Oh, okay.
It's a rollie.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it's just right. I've got my kids here. I wish it was. That's the only way I can deal with the little fuckers. I tell you what, mate.
What's the age?
Anyway, I've just started getting like I haven't changed my likeness of music or anything, but my kids are all old enough now that me and the missus can go see a band, which hasn't happened for a long time. And when because I've been in the punk scene since 84, maybe 85, and like I would not go to a band and not be in the mosh pit and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, me and the missus are starting to go and see music in the last couple of years now, and it's unbelievable, mate. I can pick 5 times where I've gone and seen this band, and it's sit down at a restaurant, and there's this hardcore punk band playing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what has happened in the last fucking 20 years that I didn't actually fucking know about? Like, and all the bands, they're in their 50s, they're in their 40s, you know? And like I think I've seen about 4 bands at the most that are under the age of 30. And it's like, I think it's it's so good to see, because I was talking to Chris Mazurek from the Radio Berman. He's actually going to be on the show in the next couple of weeks. He's living in Spain at the moment. And he goes, oh, you don't want an old fuck like me on the show, blah, blah, because I've been talking to him for the last 5 or 6 weeks. And I'm going, yeah, I do. I really want you on the show. Like, trust me, mate, every band that I've interviewed nearly are over the age of 40. Like, it's fine. And that's what it's like I went through this little fucking funnel time warp thing, and the young bands that I was seeing are the same the age as me now, and they were the same age as me beforehand.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I think
you're probably not wrong. It's that's how music's changed. I mean, my son listens to fucking gangster rap. He's 17 and he loves rap.
Yeah, same.
There's it's the big divide there where I remember when all the raving stuff went mad through the roof, and all that generation of kids were into techno and dance and rap, and so it got lost.
Yep.
We still have that. I mean, there are places. Newcastle's always been a really good place for music, sort of thing, and the scene, the places we can play at for our kind of music have always got smaller and smaller and smaller. Like, there's only a couple of venues left that you can actually turn up a couple of Marshall amps, you know, and loud and rock out seriously. But there's still, it exists, and but also there's occasionally every month or so there is still like people that are like, what about raves? And they put a fucking rave on. And there's, you know,
just a good example, isn't it?
There's rap shit that goes on, there's metal shit that goes on, like proper metal, not our kind of, you know, what some people would call metal, but there's still some diversity around here. And that's why I appreciate living in a place like this, because it's got a lot to offer, definitely.
On that note, have you guys like done a gig? There's 4 other bands playing, and like you're playing with a band that like is totally the opposite to the music you play.
Not as much lately. Look, I used to, when I was 16, 17 years old, I used to put on shows at a place called Islington Bowling Club. And the shows that I would put together would be ridiculous for someone that age to try to manage, but I tried. And it was like, I would have rappers and hardcore bands and, you know, shoegaze bands and fucking everything all in one thing. And I miss those days.
Wow.
Love to see a gig like that again. But, and it was a complete nightmare for someone like myself, who was also getting as drunk as he could possibly get at the time to run. And I'd have bands from Sydney, you know, sitting there with their hand out going, how much are we getting paid? And well, I put $2 on the door, and then there was a free fruit platter. So like, you know, hippie shit, like, here's $50. Thanks for coming. There's your petrol.
It's nothing's changed, really.
Nothing's changed.
Here's $50 and a fruit platter.
We just went to Sydney for $50 last week.
Yes, we did too. Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's gigs like that do happen still. There's a hotel around just near where I live called the Family Hotel, and they put on festivals kind of thing, and they will have a huge variety of bands, and some of it, they'll get a hardcore band in. Dog is a band that gets on that bill quite often, and we've tried, and the guy running it has talked to me, and we'll get on there eventually, sort of thing. But yeah, there's that shit still exists, and I think we're still funneling ourselves out of that COVID bullshit at the moment, and things are getting bigger and bigger. So like, more opportunities are happening, and the phone's ringing a little bit more for us.
When we used to not organise any shows. We used to just wait for the call up from bands to, do you want to play a show? We'd be like, yeah, if we were all available, yeah, for sure. Now we're sort of probably in that position where we're being
more proactive.
Yeah. we're not so lazy, pretty much.
Yeah.
We have the ability to
Yes.
put these things together, and and I've seen bands on groups on Facebook and things like that saying like, we're a new band, where do we go to get shows, etc. And like, I don't fucking reply to this shit, but like in my head, the very first thing I think is, are you serious? Have you tried ringing pubs? Have you tried going around to pubs and just talking to publicans and saying like, do you have a spare spot for it? Like a spare spot
Yep.
where there's no bands on that night and you will tolerate our kind of music? And when they say, yes, we do, then you say, right, we'll play, but we can't do 3 sets like a covers band or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So you find two of my mates' bands and put them on and put your fucking show on. Like, just like,
Yeah.
you've got to be proactive and get up and do your own thing.
Well, this is not Justin Bieber, is it? It's not Justin Bieber. You've got to put the hard work in. You've actually got to get out there and put the hard work in.
Management, man. There's no fucking, like I said, it's a hobby and you got to love doing it. And it doesn't take that much of your time if you're efficient about it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, pick a day and make a couple of phone calls to a ton of pubs, too many.
Yeah.
And you'll find some will say no.
Once you break the ice with a few, and then you get into a bit of get to the know of the scene, it's easy. Like we've been there and done it, and
have conversations.
We know plenty of places to hit up. We know venues to hit. We know people that we can
so talk to your mates that are in bands and tell them what you're trying to do, and and vice versa. They'll do that to you, and you'll come up with some gold gigs, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, you've pretty much just answered one of my questions I like asking, is that do you have any advice for younger bands trying to get into the scene? So you pretty much answered that. But,
look, it's also like, who were they? Spat Out, was it? That was a band that played.
Yeah.
Actually, I had COVID that we couldn't end up playing that, but the show went on, and there are younger bands that we hear about, and if we can give them an opportunity to potentially open a show, I think Twangers has just done it with the next Cambridge show with Blind Ice, local Newcastle hardcore band. It's going to be their first show, so it's always nice to reach out and give those guys a go, I suppose.
Oh, for sure.
And
definitely.
then putting them on there, I'm not saying you're going to be responsible for everything, but at least you're giving them a window or a door, I should say, and they, from there they can walk on through and build it themselves after that.
And another thing is, if you're in a band and you find that one of the band members is constantly kind of we're getting booked for this gig, we're getting booked for that gig, and you're not that person, get off your ass and also do the same thing. Just copy what they're fucking doing. And next time you come to rehearsal, say, I also called this pub and that pub. If enough of you in the band do that and make it, you've got such a better chance of success with a larger number of people putting feelers out and trying to figure shit out. Doesn't matter. Not just gigs, but like to get recordings done, to print those recordings to media, to print merch and stuff, T-shirts, make CDs, that sort of thing. Everybody's got to get off their ass and do something to have a better chance of being successful.
Oh, for sure.
So you might as well give it up very, very quickly, because otherwise, really.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, in the early days when you were in bands, were you given advice from older bands that you've taken on? And
for me,
back in your day, was it just like go out there and fucking play, don't just enjoy?
I think, we're going back pre
30
90s.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, mid 2000s. It was the scene ran itself. It was the most thriving scene I can recall from those mid 90s through into the 2000s. The Newcastle scene, everyone knew everyone, and everyone just know,
but shows were 10, 12 bands deep.
Yes,
at a minimum as well. Like
the old
Wow.
stuff were
for $3 or $5 or whatever.
Wow.
At 3 a.m. when the show's over, you've got a DJ blasting insane, awesome tunes and $2 samples. You know, like the Hunter on Hunter is what I'm talking about with DJ Pucko and his $2 sambookers and fucking Frank being an absolute legend. And you know, there was some sick shit back in.
Yeah, no, there'd be bands going on it. If you were headlining, you weren't going on till 2 a.m. at the Hunter on Hunter.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. I used to when I was living in Queensland, I lived about a 5-minute stagger from a nightclub called the Playroom. And
Playroom, my old band of mine that I was in Playroom.
Okay, man. The brilliant venue, wasn't it? I've got a Bessebrick.
It's babies and
the Playroom from when they pulled it down.
Yeah, that was a crime, wasn't it? Really?
Mate, it was disgusting because I've been going
there just before the Gold Coast, wasn't it? It was. Yeah,
it was just. Yeah. It was in Palm Beach. You went straight down. There was the Playroom. There was the Talabudgera Bridge where I got hit by a bus after dollar drinks. That was the most, that and the Patch and Bombay Rock when it was going at the time. They were the best 3 venues on the Gold Coast, and they had dollar drinks. They had fucking. I think I saw Thrust and the Hard-Ons there about 700,000 million fucking times. Like I saw the Divinals there, I saw the Angels there, saw the Radiators there. I didn't even know what the question was then. It was the Playrooms.
You're talking about good venues, and it's the same here. Where the Cambridge is gone soon. There's more of them disappearing than there are, showing up.
Yeah.
So, sad times.
That doesn't mean things will change, and that doesn't mean things won't change, and that we'll end up something in its place. But at the same time, it's a worry.
Definitely.
You wonder who's going to come up with something, but we've got a couple good venues around here. So besides the Cambridge going down, we've got the Hamilton station that's always been a staple. Whether you like that pub or not, it doesn't matter because that's a place where you can play. We've got the Croatian Wickham Sports Club. It's like a kind of a collaborative run kind of bowling club that's dilapidated but still can host gigs and keeps itself just afloat, whether or not FBOS is working. And the Lasagari is another one that's popped up, as well as the Family Hotel. So there's more that I can't think of off the top of my head at the moment, but that's the thing. Every time one drops off, it's an opportunity for someone else to sort of stick their hand up and see if they can thrive in that area.
Yeah, definitely. So you have kids, obviously. Do you let them listen to your music? Do you they don't want to listen?
It's difficult, or often to get your kids into your music, and certainly one thing I've never done is push them. My kids are 20 and 15, and they are into their own sort of stuff, and I've shared a lot of my musical likings with them, sort of thing. But the things that sort of hit with the 20-year-old is sort of old school rap, and with the 15-year-old is more like Sabbath. You know what I mean?
Brooklyn's into the Sabbath.
He is into the Sabbath, and cheers. And basically, just let them find their own way with that sort of stuff. At the same time, we'll show them sort of new recordings that I've done, and get the that's all right, Dad. But my old man never pushed me to have to wear all the shit that he recorded, and I found my own way into it and I think that's the best way to do it. You know, you can't
Yeah.
one into everything. And same with my kids, they don't play instruments at all, really. The younger one just told me 2 weeks ago that he was in a band that I didn't fucking know about. You know, just a school sort of like throw together kind of thing that was lasted for a couple of weeks. And I remember doing that when I was in primary school. He's in late high school. You know, so it's a bit of a difference, but at the same time, like I completely appreciate that everybody has a different path in life, and
oh, for sure,
time, you know, like so.
Yeah,
it's a different world to what I grew up in. So
yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I would force my boy's not into the stuff we play, but like it is, like Fletcher's saying, it's each to their own, mate. Like you're not going to force, you're not going to make someone like something.
No.
You know?
What I was saying was, do you feel that if your child said, "Oh, my dad's in a band," would you actually let them listen to your music, or do you think no?
I'd be appreciative if they listen.
I'd be happy if they listened to it and gave some positive feedback for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my older boy, he's 20, actually come to gigs and stuff, and he was blown away. He thought it was amazing, etc. He didn't understand that prior to actually seeing me play live, what that was about, sort of thing. He knew, you know, I'm into music, I write music, I'm all about that sort of thing as a hobby, as a piece of my life, but he never actually saw what it did to people who were standing there watching it. And he came and watched I think at least more than one show and was blown away. So
it's funny. So mate, we played in Sydney last week with a couple of good bands, and a mate of mine who lives in Sydney came to the show, and he's my age, and he's got a couple of kids, and he said after the show, because he was blown, like you said, he forgot how much energy there is going on in that time that you're playing, and he said, he goes, I should bring the kids, we should all bring the kids and watch you guys, just to not necessarily go, wow, these guys are great, but to see the energy that goes into it.
We've been asked recently if we've got any all ages shows coming up, because someone that was talking to us on Instagram, I think it was just sort of saying like, my kids are starting to like this kind of music. Do you have any all ages shows coming up? And the only all ages show that I ever remember doing with this band was at the record store in Wallsend, Hiss and Crackle. And they put on some fantastic daytime shows that are definitely all ages. There's no alcohol or anything like that. And it's about time we hit them up for another one.
There used to be going back 25 years that you were doing all ages shows and then doing an adult show on the same day. You know, it was when you had Reason were doing SNFU and all that sort of stuff. There was an Arvo show, all ages evening show with the and it seems to be a thing of the past, really, doesn't it? You don't hear about it. You don't.
It does. Yeah.
Is it a venues problem where they're having minors there? I don't know. I don't know, but it's definitely something we should revisit.
Can we just? So, as I was talking about your kids about listening, would you let them listen to your music? Because this afternoon I'm interviewing a metal band called Magnetron.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a father singer and a son lead guitarist.
Okay.
And I like. Would you be stoked if that ever happened? Would you like if your son said, "Dad, I want to learn the drums. I want to play in your band. or I want to learn bass. I want to play."
I played with the old band for a bit. We've done a couple of different things before he passed away, and I regret that he passed away, because I'd still be doing stuff with him now if I had the opportunity, sort of thing. My kids. I mean, I'd be stoked if they wanted to do something like that. You know, like like I said, they don't play instruments, so
that's the problem. That's the same in mine. Yeah.
But I reckon I could get Caleb, my 20-year-old, to do some pretty serious screaming, if not Brooklyn, my 15-year-old.
What's the 20-year-old's name?
Caleb.
Oh, okay, I've got a son named Caleb.
I got Caleb Wright and Brooklyn Rock. That's their names.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you had a chalk and decided to name the kids.
Yeah. I got the dibs on the middle name, so Riot and Rock. But yeah, they like Excellent. I said, they're not in a position, I don't think, at this point in time to be singing in a band. But if they were, and it wouldn't be too difficult to push them into that role, yeah, I'd take it for sure. At the same time, I also remember the feeling of playing with my old man, and I think while I was younger, it was some weirdness to it, sort of thing. And like I said, now I regret that I even felt that way, because I'd take the opportunity in a split second if I had it.
Oh, for sure.
Me, on the other hand, unless I'd probably started doing some serious rhyming, although, maybe there might be a resurgence of punk, metal, rap, Judgment Night style, the Ice-T thing that maybe could work, but I don't think so. But yeah, look, if again, my son doesn't play an instrument, so again, it would have to be a singing thing. But definitely, look, fuck, if you had that opportunity where you could play music with your children, for sure, why not?
Did you try to put a couple of drumsticks in their hand when they were younger, or a guitar, or you just?
I tried to. I didn't push hard. I've never pushed too hard or anything with the kid, but definitely learning an instrument. I was thinking you should. It's something you'll always have. It's something you can always do on your own, particularly guitar and things like that, or any of them, I suppose. But no, it's just a different world, I guess. He just didn't. And for me too, I only learned an instrument because it was thrown upon me at school that I had to learn an instrument. And it's probably the best thing I came out of high school with. Because I was fucking terrible at school. And I can play drums pretty reasonable.
You can play drums well.
It's all right.
Yeah. I've heard a few of your songs. They're like it's something that I dig, that I'd like put on the stereo and listen to, definitely.
Yeah, good.
Have you had that gig that you just wish you didn't do? Like, has there been an outstanding gig that, like, fuck, that was just, or that was amazing, or?
Oh, so you're saying what, the gig where there's just been a complete and utter mess up, fuck up through the whole thing, or that one that you just thought?
One that's just gone like, well, I wish we recorded that, because there's a fucking DVD right there. That was amazing.
I don't know.
Not for a long time in terms of the fuck up part of it, because like, we're getting older. We're not here to fuck around. So we practice hard every week if we can. If we've got a couple of gigs that we've played, we may drop the Wednesday jam sort of thing because there's a gig and you don't want to then jam and then have another gig because you've got commitments outside of the band. But as far as a complete fuck up, there's been plenty of those in the past, but not for a long time. Human Failure, I joined 4 years ago. Prior to that, I had fairly large hiatus of, I don't remember how long. It could have been 10 years. It might have only been 5. I can't remember. But like, I'm come from a place where I was in like 4 bands at the same time, sort of thing, and that just sort of imploded on itself a little bit for a ton of reasons. But I had to sort of step back and sort some shit out as far as family and stuff concerned. Had young kids at the time, and was just like, I've kind of got to adult this shit a little bit harder, and then it went probably a little bit too long before then I got to sort of call up to say, hey, by any chance do you want to play bass? And I jumped on this band, so I'm stoked to be back in this shit. It's been like 4 years, so it feels like it was yesterday that I was in 4 bands at the same time.
I'm so envious, because I've got an ear for music, but I'm probably the most untalented person on the earth. Like the whole of from about 86 onward, I've been a punter or a roadie, and now I'm doing this show kind of thing. But I can't get up on stage. I admire you guys. I admire any musician that can get up there, because I have no talent, and I'd love to have been able to play.
That's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh.
I'll cut you off there and say, except for getting off your ass and doing a show like this,
doing a show and being a roadie and doing everything else in between, and probably getting screamed at a lot of the time by fucking asshole musos that you hated at times. But
also, I hear where you're coming from.
Yes.
But at the same time, don't shit on yourself too hard, because we're here talking to you because we want to be.
Yeah, most definitely.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it big time. Have you watched any of the interviews I've done? You don't have to say yes if you haven't.
To be honest, mate, until you hit me up the other day, and I didn't even know your show existed, to be honest. We don't. If I'd seen 40 or someone, I actually just caught a bit of the Justin from the Grounds and Dog.
That was great.
Yeah, I believe he was pretty. Supportive by the end of it. But,
that was a terrific time. I really enjoyed that one.
Don't Pay the Ferryman, I believe, was one of the calls.
What a cover!
It's a great song. It's a great song.
And it would be a magic punk cover.
Yeah.
I went and saw a band not long ago called Oceans, and the guitarist singer of the band Oceans, he plays for the Radio Rejects. But I went and saw the Oceans, and they did a cover of Love Is a Battlefield. And it was fucking fantastic, man. I really didn't think that it could turn out as, I really didn't think doing that in a punk way, that song would sound good, but it sounded fucking terrific. Do you guys play covers at all?
We, at the moment, we have one cover that we've probably played, in my opinion, too many times. It's an Integrity cover, Abraxas Annihilation. And we nailed it, we fucked it up, and it's time to, I reckon, put it to bed and pick another cover. But that's how we feel about covers, is that I reckon there should be at least one cover in every set, you know what I mean?
For sure.
I don't know about that.
I reckon there can be, and I think it's fun to do, just to pay homage to just where you're getting your inspiration from in terms of writing your own songs. And that song really fit with the current music that we've got on our 10-inch.
It's actually the first cover we've actually really ever done, because everyone always brings up, can we do this as a cover? Each to their own has a favourite song that they'd love to cover, but every other member of the band goes, fucking no one else cover than that.
But no one said no to this one.
No one said no to this one.
So it's time to find the next one that no one says no to, and learn it and nail it and bring it out, basically. So, but that's pretty much our thoughts on covers.
Other than that, that's the first cover we've done in ever, pretty much as a band. Yeah. It's always been, we've always enough original stuff on tape to not really go there. So, but it's a good song.
It's a
fucking good song.
It's really hard to sing and play at the same time. We do have a singer that doesn't play anything.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing backups to that song, it's fucking impossible to continue the riff and sing the backups to that part.
That's just how it's done.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, Fletch. Every set should have a cover.
Yeah.
You know, I think every set. It's just.
It's a call out to, you know, like as I said, paying homage to where you're drawing your inspiration from at that time, and it's kind of like, it, you know, in a negative way, you would say it dates what you're doing, but like it's a positive thing as well, where it's sort of saying, you know,
as long as you're giving it justice well, though, you don't want to cover and butcher them. As long as you can pull it off.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure. I'd love to use covers, any sort of any cover, but as long as they're not butchering it.
Yeah. I think as a band we're smart enough that distinction that okay, we can release this, not release it on media, but we can bring this out and play it to people because we feel like we've got it right. So
Integrity.
Mm.
Even when we fuck it up, it doesn't sound terrible.
No, we covered it well last week. We just went off on my little thing there for or two, and then it all came back. We finished it strongly.
I think so who writes the songs anyway out of you guys?
We all do. So
Excellent.
in terms of writing songs, it's a matter of someone's going to have to bring something to start a song. So someone brings more than one riff and starts playing it, and then someone else at the same rehearsal decides that, well, this could go that way after that. What do you think of that? Back, or it can get extended at that point in time. We then sort of fuck around until we can transition between person A's interpretation of what they brought to the table and person B's interpretation of what they felt when they heard that first thing. So that usually makes it pretty good. And then after that, you've got Pete, who has to then figure out what beat it is, you know, that goes with that particular riff, and Bo, who figures out what the fuck to say over the top of that. And then everybody checks everybody else in terms of, like, you know, if one of the guitar players or me as a bass player decide that, you know, the beat that's been put down originally could be improved or changed in some way, Pete's open to hearing our thoughts on that. And certainly in terms of lyrics, when Bo, he'll just bring his notepad out immediately, start writing down as he's hearing us play this stuff, and we'll check what the fuck he's actually thinking, because at the end of the day, these lyrics, you know, especially these days with things like Spotify and where I'm uploading the lyrics to the songs that go on there, so you can bring it up,
stream the song and read the lyrics. You can
scroll through the lyrics as you're listening to the song. Yeah. So it's kind of important that we all agree on the topic that's being sort of broadcast, and so we really do get it in terms of, I think, in terms of like a collaborative effort of all 5 members of the band.
Some come together like that. Some get put on the back burner, and then they get revisited. And
we get songs where you know, like the riffs maybe technical and stuff, and you know, the bass and guitar, the guitar 1 and the bass will have this thing, and the drums will be perfect for it, and guitar 2's like, what the fuck do I do? And we just sort of bear with it and play it and play it and play it until guitar 2 then like comes up with something that just fits in but is different enough. And just aware of like making sure that like the space that's available can be taken up by something useful. So we're pretty proud of the way we have handled that shit.
They generally don't sound like that initial riff or whatever that's brought to the table at any given time generally doesn't end up like I reposted Greed last night. I think I saw, which is 4 years. No, it's nearly 4 years old. And listening to it then, which was the night that we sort of came up with it, to actually how we recorded it, is very similar in some respect. But there's a lot of stuff that's there that's not there.
We do like to evolve stuff, and we don't care that it's been like. For a while there, we were like, well, it's been recorded this way, we should do it this way. And we're not going to re-record this thing again. We don't have plans on it anyway. And then it's like, but if it has to evolve, it just fucking evolves. Like, and so in terms of like a song like Greed, like he was talking about, like I wasn't around in the band when that song was written. I came into the band slightly after that, but at the same time, I've grown to really love that song and I like it heaps. And I just pushed my way in terms of the of singing the chorus bit and completely changing the rhythm of
you stamp your own. You stamp your own bit on it. You stamp your own piece on it.
And it's just one of those things that you feel as a musician who's been playing for a couple of decades, sort of thing. This kind of music where you're just like, but it could do this or it could do that. And so it's like, a lot of us all have like the ability to sort of like pull from sounds that we've got in our ears because we're listening to music all day, every day, and just going like, well, we could evolve that to this and shape this. And it's like completely changed like the feel of this one part of a song sort of thing. And it's like, and you just grow to love it, like, so yeah.
Excellent. Well, guys, I've got to keep the interviews under an hour and a half, just so people don't go, fuck, that goes for 2 hours. I'm not going to watch that fucking thing. Yep. But hey, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking up the thing. It's been great. I really appreciate you guys doing this.
Thanks for having us.
No, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
While I've just got you there, though, mate, before you shut us off. That's the new 10-inch. Do all yourselves a favour and buy the fucking thing. It's on our website, in our bio, on Insta and all that bullshit. You'll find it through there. You can go to our store and buy something else there because we need the money.
We've got that 10-inch.
We're going to Brisbane. We're going to Queensland next month, so
we've got that 10-inch. We've got shirts. We've got some older split 7s with Straight to a Tomb. We've got some older 7s.
These ones.
We've got some older 7s that are just us as well.
Oh, these ones. Hang on, I'll give these ones. So yeah, grab yourself one of those. All you people down there in the gong.
So check us out.
People are watching the show from California and Oregon.
Cool.
I get great comments and saying, "Oh, Australia's got one of the best punk scenes in the world," and it's because of interviewing people like you, and I'm so stoked, man. So you heard, guys, where do you get your records? Bandcamp or
if you just go to socials,
www.humanfailure.com.
Yeah, that is
.au. Don't forget the .au. Humanfailure.com.au, or just jump on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook is Human Failure. Instagram is Human Failure. And from there, you'll find links that go through to the website to buy that stuff, or just send us a message and we can work it out.
All right, guys, so empty your pockets out and do a favour for your ears. Buy some of this stuff. Thank you, guys.